Hey, Mama.
I'm the last one invited here, Celine.
I have been putting out notices, Jenny. Was I supposed to TP you personally?
Oh,
Personally,
gosh,
yes.
dang it all. Why am I
Oh.
not special?
Okay, well, leave, and I'll TP you.
Well, no,
No,
I'm not. I'm not chatting. I,
Oh
I
my.
Happy morning.
Happy morning.
she did ask me,
Allergy.
where is this meeting? And instead of being snarky, I just TP'd her.
There you go.
True. She thought maybe there was a chance I had some cake on me, so
Well, I thought I missed
got
it
a
yesterday,
notice.
and you were saying it's today, and I'm like, oh, thanks, gosh.
I want you to know, Mama P,
But
for this carnival of hope, I personally went to Matt P, got a machine that makes cupcakes.
well, that's
Yes.
so cool. They had a really cool one that made bunnies at Easter.
I know it's out there too.
Yeah.
And there's also claw machines that you can actually play them and get a plushie out of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, all kinds of fun
They must
stuff.
have a team behind them because
I think
one
they've
or
got a
two
lot of people. Yeah,
going on. Yeah, that's for sure.
they would have to keep up with the demand that they do.
Yeah.
And they went in cahoots with Linden Labs too. Linden Labs is
Yeah.
with them now. So yeah. All right.
Let's do this.
Okay, guys. So Muse is here to record. Okay, to video this. She is
Mhm.
trying something out that has closed captions for those who are hearing impaired, and we do have
Love
some
it.
captains.
Love that.
There are
Love
some
that.
captains that are
That's
hearing
good.
impaired. So I
Mhm.
think that's going to be awesome. So whenever you have a question, if you will type in local that you have a question, I will call you when we're ready for you to ask the question. Because if you talk over each other, the closed captions is not going to capture it. Uh, so if y'all can do that, I would really appreciate it. This is really about Relay Weekend and where y'all can learn what Relay Weekend is. We say campgrounds. It doesn't necessarily mean you pitch a tent and fry your catfish there. You,
But
it's
it
just what we end up.
can.
You
Well,
could if that's what you want to do. You could boil some crawfish too, right, Sting?
there you go.
So this is a time for Sting to kind of touch base on different parts of Relay Weekend, and Mama P is going to share her things that she does and explain a few things to you. And I'm going to turn it over to them and let them take over. And just remember to put into local, and I will call on you. Go ahead, Sting.
All right. Am I on? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, good. Yeah, so we are, what are we? I think a few weeks, almost a month, a little more than a month away from Relay Weekend. So this is the time when people start to turn their attention to, yeah, what are they going to build for the 24-hour event to be along the relay track. We talk about relay season being like from kickoff until Relay Weekend, and Relay for Life is really, it's all of it, but that's why we call Relay Weekend what we do. But the relay itself is probably that you can't put the experience into words. And I think that for those people who have been to a relay or our relay, you know what I mean. And so, like, there's constantly every year, especially with first year teams or people who were there for their first year and they were there for the whole season. Anytime I would talk to people along the track, usually, most of the halfway through the relay or something like that, and people start talking, they're like, oh my goodness, like so many light bulbs go off. I get it now. Like, you have this moment of an epiphany, or even if you have done it forever, it's just so inspirational because you're seeing kind of like everybody's creativity, everybody's passion, everybody's commitment, all on display at the same time, and it's just this big giant concentration of just the best feelings, right? Because everybody's working together. Like we said, it's team unity. It's we're all in this together, and it is a relay. Going back to the idea behind it, why we call it relay is because a relay cannot be done with a single person, right? A relay is multiple people coming together to accomplish that thing, walking around the track. So yes, it is the time for you to bring all of the people that worked on your team and take turns, right? Because the goal for relay weekend is to have somebody on the track at all times, and it's not necessarily it's not a requirement that you be there for the full 24 hours. The idea is that your team is represented for the full 24 hours. Now, there are people who like to take the challenge. I myself, I try to stay up as long as I can, but I'm a little older now than when I started doing this, and I have to take my nap sometime. So I can be up and ready to go. But we do start at 10 a.m. SLT on Saturday, June 7th, with the opening ceremony. And then we finish, we say it's 10 to 10, but really the closing ceremony, I think it starts at 10, right? Oh, you know what? I'm doing this all these years. Do we start? Yeah, we start the closing ceremony at 10 and then it ends at 11.
Yes. Yeah.
So actually it's 25 hours if you want to really think about it like that. But so on Sunday, June 8th, the ceremonies, those opening and closing ceremonies are we talk about celebrate, remember, and fight back is kind of one of the mottos for relay. And the opening ceremony and survivor laps represent the celebrate component, right? That is when we get started. We celebrate everything we've accomplished through the year. We celebrate the people that we love, survivors and caregivers that are in our lives, and we celebrate one another. And then the remember part of relay is the luminaria ceremony, which we'll talk about later. And then the closing ceremony and fight back is the kind of like the fight back. And we also we'll do a fight back ceremony around like 7 in the morning or something like that. But it's that is our commitment that until we have achieved our mission, that we will continue to fight back against cancer. And so we'll, like Celine said, like Mama's going to kind of talk more about the campsites. We'll get into some of the logistical things, especially for those who have not experienced it and know, like, what do they need to know? What do they need to do? How do people make sure that they're prepared for Relay Weekend?
Right. So what is a campsite? Because you're going to hear that word over the next 4 weeks. Fill out the form, reserve your campsite, build your campsite, do this. So the word campsite actually started in real life relays, in that a typical real life relay is held around a track at a local facility or a high school or something. And the teams, because there are teams in real life, would pitch a tent as somewhere to go in and sit, or sit with others, or have a space for themselves. So I think, Jeff, this is where this whole word campsite came from.
They literally did camp out in the early.
They did camp out, yeah. And so we use the word campsite, but we definitely, Celine said, we're not pitching tents and fishing for catfish and doing all of that. Our campsites are a small plot of land, a quarter of a sim to be exact, minus the 8 meters for the road. So they're 128 by 120 that your team has access to over Relay Weekend. Each captain will submit a form telling us that they want one. So you'll have to step up and tell us, yes, I want to be there. Yes, I want a campsite. And that form is coming out on May 1st. So look for that. The campsite becomes your team's home for Relay Weekend. So when you're there during the anytime during the 24 hours, that's kind of your home base. But, we hope you're out walking the track and visiting all the other beautiful campsites and not just hanging there, but that's your home. That's where you're grounded. You will have access to that campsite approximately 2 weeks before June 7th. and you can build and decorate your space. And these are the words that we use. And I'm going to give you a link in a minute that if you forget all of this, you can go back and read all about everything I'm saying. But it creatively merges your team's identity with your interpretation of the current relay theme, which is the magic of hope. So, you know, they all are beautiful. They all are different. How do you interpret this year's theme, the magic of hope? And then bringing in your team identity to what is it that you build so that it really, really, really feels like home. The standard campsite, like you'll have a choice. The standard campsite is a quarter of a region minus the road, 128 by 120, where you will have 3,000, and I'm old school, I'm going to call them prims, to build. You will have a second choice, which we call a turnkey, and that basically is on a quarter of a region. 4 smaller areas are designated for teams that aren't up to building a whole quarter sim build. They're pre-decorated to an extent. They're decorated to theme. They'll be landscaped, but there will be 4, like think of 4 little plots where you will, if you decide you want a turnkey, where your team has 200 prims, you're able to res chairs and your team flags and your kiosks and vendors and anything else that turns that spot into making it your team identity. So those are called turnkeys. So when you, on May 20th, when you go to the form and you start to fill it out, you'll be asked 2 questions. Do you want a regular campsite or a turnkey? And then also there's a space where you can type in if you have any special requests. So a special request might be, hey, I really want to be next to team so-and-so. Or another request might be, I want to be on the region that I'm sponsoring. If you have something special that you want us to consider, it goes on that form. And Sting likes to say we've never not been able to honor one of those requests, but this might be, yep, this might be the first year that happens. But anyway, we do our best to try and, you know, this is a fun weekend. It's a time we all come together, and we try and make it the best that we can for you and what you need and what you want. I just put a link in local, which will take you to the campsite building guidelines that are on our website. And I am going to mention a few things, and you're probably going to get really sick and tired of hearing me keep mentioning these things. Back in the old day, we used to have rules about building your campsite that went on for pages and days. And we finally decided that was absolutely ridiculous, that this is about you doing what you want to do to express you, your team, and the theme. And we narrowed it down to, on this page that I gave you, very few building guidelines. And I don't need to read them to you, but a couple of things I am going to say, and these are the things that you're going to hear from me over and over the next 5 weeks. Absolutely, positively no screens. Those cut, what I think what we want to read is this. This is a relay where we all come together and we're all open. This isn't about you creating a private space by putting up walls and screens. Does that make sense to you guys? That this is, we want it open. We want you to be able to stand on the track and look out. We want you to be able to stand at your campsite and not look to your right and see a big old wall up, and you can't see past that on either side or whatever. So over the years, we have come, probably the only one real rule we have is none of those screens. And Jeff's like, what does Jeff say in this? He says, oh, they're so 2007 anyway. I know they have their place, and they're still around Second Life quite a bit, but we're going to ask that you don't use them around your build. The other thing we discourage are walls of any kind. Again, they separate you from your neighbor. They separate you. It feels like it's not open and inclusive. But I will say this, some of your builds have little walls, low walls that are part of the design of your campsite. We'll take those on a one by one basis. We don't, again, we don't, this is all about be kind to your neighbor. We are all on these 30 regions. We're all together. We're bumped right up next to each other. And you've got to remember, my neighbor. Am I being kind to my neighbor? Is this going to infringe on my neighbor? Is this whatever? So, those are basically the two things I want to mention. The other things you can read, if you keep everything Phantom, it helps with the lag. The scripts help with the lag. The textures, if you can use a certain, I'm not going to read this to you, you can read this. But
Phantom.
yeah, I just said
possible in
Phantom,
this
all
study
that.
bit.
But I don't want to insult you by reading to you, but whatever. It's all there. And, the two main things, the screens and the walls.
I want to also point out too, right? So when we talk about that the rule with the wall thing, whatnot, we are not asking everybody to police everybody else. Like just
no.
there are enough people that are on the event team that like if there's a wall that needs to be addressed,
I'll find it.
We'll see it. Yeah, we already we know about it. So you don't have to report each other. You don't have to say anything to your neighbor. Okay, that goes back to being kind to your neighbor. Like you shouldn't have to be the one to talk to the person about the wall. Let Mama or Celine or me or somebody else we'll talk to them about it, because it is a little subjective, like Mama said. Sometimes a wall that you think is unnecessary may actually be necessary. There may be valid reasons for things. So everything.
I'm saying it. Yeah, I'm saying it up front. It is arbitrary, and it's just the walls just don't feel right, and especially if it's a really tall wall and you can't see your neighbor. Or your neighbor.
Our goal is a good experience for everybody.
Yep, you got it. All right. So, So just a few things. When you're building your campsite, think of this. Do you want people to explore it, or is it just for your team? So if you want people to come in and you want people to visit what you're doing, there's got to be clear entry and exit points. You're going to have 120 meters along the track. So somehow fix it so that it says, hey, come and see what I'm doing. Give them an entry point or something so that they know what's going on. You could offer an experience or a game or a story or a ride or something that would get people to go in. We have been fighting this for years. The purpose of this weekend is to walk around the track. But darn, we have over 100 beautiful builds on the track. And how do we get people to come off the track and go into somebody said the raffles, Luna, to get you to come into their campsite. So think about that when you're designing it. How are you going to encourage them to step off the track and take a walk inside and look at your beautiful build? We've done so many things over the years. We do a hunt and we put the hunt from in the back of each campsite to force them to walk through. We do this, that. Basically, it comes down to it's up to you. Can you build something that is going to pull them off the track for a few minutes to come in and see what you've done? Because some of your builds are just friggin' amazing. And we really need to get people to, all of them are amazing. They all tell a story. They all whatever, and you really want people to come off the track and see what you've done. All right, so I've talked enough. Kitty, are you here? Kitty?
Yeah.
All right, Kitty's going to talk to you about the campsite markers, the badges you can earn over the course of the weekend, and so on. Take it away, Kitty.
Okay, can you all hear me? Wait a minute.
Yep.
Yes, beautifully.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
We hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay. I'm going to talk about my very favorite subject, the campsite markers, achievement awards, fundraising awards, and I forgot one thing, if I can slip it in there, the lap awards. If I can slip them in. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The campsite marker is what is put at the front of your campsite, and it tells your team name. And it's where I put, or somebody puts badges, and you can earn these badges in a couple different ways, and I'm going to explain them to you. The first one is a thematic badge or theme badge, and if you are in theme, you get a badge. Now, I want to emphasize you do not have to build to theme. You can do what you want, but if you are in theme, you will get a theme badge on your marker, and try to make it obviously in theme. Like one year we had ice cream cones on a campsite, and we had to stretch our imaginations to try to get it in theme that year. But we did. We got it. We kind of saw how they were correlating that. Maybe the only one. Oh, yeah. If you okay. I try to get those badges out as soon as I can. We have, I will tell you real quick, we have super secret, super duper quiet, anonymous, quote unquote, anonymous checkers who will go out and make sure and see if you are eligible for a badge. They fill out a form and I see it, and I go over and put the badges out. And they are very super secret anonymous. Haha. Okay, and I usually pick people who are I know will be fair in judging your campsite and what they see. And if they have any questions, they can always call on myself or Mama or somebody or Sting. The second marker badge we put on your marker is called Cancer Education the one, and this one we are picky. And I'm sorry, I hate to be that way, but we are picky about this one. This one has to come from our cancer.org. You can use posters from the volunteer building on the ACS island. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to choose every poster. You can choose, if your campsite is about breast cancer, put the breast cancer posters out. Or you can make your own posters as long as you reference the cancer.org website. Does that make sense, everybody? So you can make your own posters. You can even take, go look at the ones we have in that building and make your own, like I said, as long as we can reference it back to cancer.org. Now, another badge I put out there is the fundraising badge. And that one, it will be your level that you are. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't level during the weekend. Trust me. Let me know if you level during the weekend, relay weekend, and I will put your new level on your campsite. It is difficult to keep track at that point of when people level due to the system we have. So if you have to let me know, I do not mind roller skating over to your campsite and taking a picture of your new marker with your new level and putting that badge there. So just let me know. And if I'm not on, let's say I'm okay, I take a nap during the time, I will get you right as soon as I wake up and get back on the track, because I'm like other people. I don't go the whole 24 hours. I try, but anyway, I might miss a couple hours here and there. Okay. Oh. And I also wanted, I'm sorry, I'm reading some notes. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's one reason I'm always a turtle, because I never make it all the way around either. So, but I'm proudly a turtle, I shall say. And I wanted to talk about the turtles, the rabbits, the roadrunners, the cheetahs, and that those are the lap awards you get for how many laps you make all the way around the track. And some of us are proudly turtles every year. And some people get to be rabbits. Some people get to be roadrunners. Those are really fast. And then the cheetahs, and they are super fast. And you will know them by their the smoke they leave behind in their little trails as they run past you. But we try to get the lap awards out the next day, or I try to. And if you ever, Speed Booster. If you ever have a question about any of the things I've discussed, please feel free to ask me. And I'm going to post a link to the Second Life website that will tell you more about the Achievement Awards. And there you go. Like I said, the theme one, we try to we do our best to try to connect it to the theme and give you that badge. We do work hard on that. And the second part, we are picking on the cancer education badge. And you can put those with honor on your, have them with honor on your marker. Oh, your markers are also your souvenirs. You can take them. I will say this. If you make a copy of your campsite marker in your team levels during the events, I cannot put badges on something you've placed there. So I won't be able to put the fundraising badges on something if you've taken a copy of a marker and put it out. You can do that. Just be aware that it won't have a badge unless you allow me to edit your items.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I've had that a couple of times.
Right.
And I think my next person is Jenny.
Yeah, I'm going to say a few things. Thank you, Kitty. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Those, I'm going to take 1 minute to give you a little bit of what happens before you get to the regions. On May 21st, 34 regions will be brought up by Linden Lab. And at that point, those regions all need to be parceled, named, marked, roads put in, info stations put in, which Jenny's going to talk about in just a minute. The campsite markers need to be put out. So that all needs to happen before you can have access to the regions. Our goal is that you have access to those regions no later than May 24th. It may be a little sooner than that, depending on how fast we can get all of that infrastructure done. But it's a major, major, major job getting them ready for you. But about the campsite markers, we will place them as close to the center of your campsite and close to the road as possible. If you need to move them, you're welcome to move them along the line where we have them close to the road. If they're in the way of your build or, whatever, but we ask that you keep them on the road. So don't move them back into your campsite where Kitty and her people helping her can't find them. So they need to stay on the road, but you're welcome to move them if they're in your way. The other thing I want to mention is, I'm going to let Jenny go, and then I'll talk a little bit about the info stations logistical wise. So Jenny's
we can talk together, Mama.
Hours, info stations. Go, Jenny.
Mama, let's talk together.
Oh, you go. I'll interrupt you. You know I'm so good.
You will. Yeah. You will. Okay. Can you guys believe how fast this season is gone? It's like tomorrow's May and then we're done. That's it. And it's gone so fast. And thanks to everybody who came today, even if you've been here before, because the support system this year that I've seen around the teams has been amazing. And I just want to take a second to thank everybody for being so there for others and helping out. And so if you have any questions or anything, even if it's not here, feel free to reach out to me or any of these people here. I mean, just a great group of people. All right, info stations. These are at every sim crossing. The info station is your friend. It will show who sponsors the regions. Over the top of the crossing, it will show who sponsors the theme hour, which, ding, 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 is a great way for you to make money for your team. If you can find somebody to say, hey, I want to sponsor a theme hour, I think what was it, Mom? It's like $12,500 or something like that for a theme hour, which is a lot for some, but for some, maybe not. Or maybe you have a friend who wants to donate in bulk and says, hey, I want to, put this and I don't know what to do with it and how can I make an impact? Put it in your name. Basically, you go to Kathy Longoria or one of us and we'll point in the right direction. And you can sponsor your very own theme hour. Camping for a Cure does this every year. We raise money with gotcha sales, or, well, we put raffles out along every sim, so Luna plays them, and stuff like that, just to make sure that we can lock in and getting our name out. And it's just a fun way to do things, and it all counts towards your total win. So anyway, you'll see that across the top, the theme hours, and we'll get more into that in just a minute. Inside the info station, you'll also have all kinds of goodies. It will have a box of things to help make your weekend experience even more fun. Is it possible? Yes. Basically, it'll have some neon hula hoops, some pom poms, and all different types of things that you would want to help you out with theme hours and getting things together. You will also find all different types of cancer information. I don't know if you follow the Monday missions, and if you don't, shame on you. Shame. Because Sandy works her butt off, and they are helpful. You should be taking those Monday missions and making sure you send them out in your groups and to your teams. Knowledge is power in all of this. This is something that I've learned through my time of doing this. While it's all a party for sure, until the person that 1 in 8 comes to you and they have cancer and they're part of your team and they want to know what next, So there's a bigger thing to all this. And if I'm not reading chat, I'm sorry. Mama can yell at me. But yeah, this knowledge is power, guys. And so you'll find cancer information inside of there also. You will find a note card on the luminary levels. The luminaries are the bags that will line the whole track the whole way around. I happen to have it in good with the luminary people, and if you want a picture with Lumi, slip Mama and I some cake, and we'll get you in there for a picture. And
inside track with Lumi, huh?
Yeah. And so the luminary levels, they usually start out, you have to pay at least 50 lindens. You don't have to. Then let me finish this sentence. You have to pay at least 50 lindens for it to light up. Right, Mama?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And we want to light them all up. I don't care where it is. First of all, you take care of what's in front of your camp, those areas, and then you keep going. You can pay up to 10,000. Some people save for this all year long. So they have different levels, like 50 to 500's yellow, 500 to 1000's green, 1000 to 2500's blue. Then you got an orange level, a pink level, and then the purple level. These levels, I'm gonna pass you guys a note card because it's just so simple, and that way you could share it with your teams. It's last year's, but it'll work, right, Mama?
Yeah.
And so
I'll say, I just typed this too. Like, I would recommend that if once the bags in front of your camp are all lit, that you bounce to like the stage region or ACS or like the other public places first, because like that way you're not taking bags away from your neighbor, right? I know, and every now and then we always have a couple of excited and eager people, especially one in particular that every year seems to go around and just light everything before the teams even get there or something.
So
and
yeah,
if that happens, we do have the ability to swap out some bags for.
Don't get upset. Just come to us and we'll get some more rezzed, or remember that if the bag is lit, someone donated, and that's a good thing. So we'll fix it.
There's always more spots. So there's the survivor region. There's where we do the opening, closing ceremonies. You will find luminaries.
Right.
You will find them. The theme hours. When are we handing them out, Mama?
What?
The theme hour list.
Anytime you decide, you're in charge.
Really? I have superpowers again.
Do it.
So we have the theme hours are done and they're ready to roll. And oh my goodness, it'll just be so distracting. But I will hand out the theme hours before we leave here, probably just in a minute or so. Theme hours are fun. The whole idea behind the theme hours is to keep things fresh hour to hour, because sometimes it gets slightly monotonous walking the same path. So what we do is we pick out I asked in Discord a few times. I got some good ideas, and I get inspired from people like we had to have Olivia Newton-John hour, but really it's Kitty hour because it's skate hour, and we have to have these certain things because I take from the past. I think of the season and the people that I've met around us, and I take in all these different things, and we kind of go from there. The best way to do this is you get your now card early and you set up time to make outfits. And I don't know if you know how to save an outfit, but saving the outfit would be the key to your success because when we goes to changing, when there's this many people on a track, it's a little laggy, slightly.
It's
Just
okay.
a little bit. And it's okay. You're going to see pixel boobs every once in a while. It's not a big deal. Okay. What the big deal is we're having fun and we've got these outfits for saving. If you go to Avatar up above on your menus or wherever it is, depending on your viewer, you can go to Avatar and outfits. And under that, the middle thing where it says outfits, you can save what you are wearing as save as, and you can label it. Okay, this is for my Xanadu hour because I'm wearing my roller skates and I'm looking all Olivia Newton-John in my headband, and so you save that, and then when that hour comes to, all you're going to have to do is right click and replace it with current outfit. Pow! You're ready. Just that easy.
All right.
And then, what do we do? Do you have to do all the theme hours? Yes! Oh my god.
I do
have
not.
to. Am I all right? No?
No. But we
Okay,
hope.
you don't have to do all of them. I mean, but get into it. Have fun with it.
Have fun with it. That's the main thing is the weekend is very serious, but at the end of the day, we hope we all have fun doing this serious business, So, all right, Jenny, is that it?
I'm handing them out right now. Shh, they're not going to listen to you anymore.
All right. The rest of this stuff I'm going to talk about fast because in my mind, we were going to talk at you for a half an hour. If anybody talks at me for longer than a half an hour, I'm out of here and give you a chance to ask some questions. But a few last things. Jenny pretty much covered the Luminaria bags that line the track. I don't need to do that. She did that. The other thing I want to cover is the Luminaria ceremony, which happens at 9 p.m. on Saturday. And that's where things come to a standstill. We ask that you dim the sims and walk in silence. And for 1 hour, we read dedications that you've submitted to us to honor someone that you have lost or who is still battling cancer. And it is the most life-changing hour that you will ever spend in Second Life. So we will get forms out for you to give us your dedications. Again, we only have time to read about 200. So when you fill those out, please, please, please keep them as short as you can, getting your message across. Your message is what's important. But on the form, which will go out, I think we had a date somewhere,
May
probably
1st?
around May 23rd.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the reservation.
And,
May 23rd.
we'll ask May 23rd that you keep it as short as you can, but not, we need your message. So, you be the judge, and we will take the liberty of cutting some of those if they get too long so we can get as many in as we can. All right, so quickly, the last few things. And Jeff, jump in here if you want. What can I do on the track? The days leading up to relay, you can do anything. You want to drive those vehicles on the track, you want to have a party, you want to do whatever. But the regions are only available to those who have builder tags up until probably the week before. We will open that up and broaden it so that you can have a party. You can do whatever you want. This is your campsite. Use it, have fun, do whatever. When Relay Weekend starts, all of that stops. You can change your music stream, but during relay weekend, it goes back to the relay stream. During those 24 hours, we ask that you don't have a big party at your campsite, because the reason for the weekend is to walk the track. And if you're having a big party, then the track may not be accessible. So that's the only reason we ask that you don't do it during the 24 hours. After relay weekend, if the regions will be up for a few days, have another party.
Well,
You
that's
know,
a good
just-
time for you to break out the drivables and the whatevers and just go crazy.
Yeah, go crazy. I mean, we know you guys have so much fun with it, and it's so much fun. You know, we're not gonna whatever. Just during those 24 hours, you know, all of that has to stop, and we focus on, you know, the serious part of why we're there. Yeah. Jeff, anything you want to say, and then let's open it up for questions.
Yeah, I think even going back to going to the laps themselves on the weekend and whatnot. Every year, right, there are people who use speed boosters and
It's fine.
people
Do
who
what
don't
you-
like that. I get it, you don't like it, but at the same time, that is why we have the turtle, rabbit, and all the way up to cheetah, and it's our fun. The cheetah is our fun way to kind of the tongue in cheek say like, haha, you did get those laps, but yeah, you cheated to do it, and we're okay with that because it's fine, right?
Yeah.
If you are a speed booster, or if there are people are with speed boosters that bump into you and whatnot, know that they're not doing it on purpose. Try not to let it bother you. I mean, it's pixels still, right? So if it happens, it happens. But we do also ask that the speed booster people maybe try to drive responsibly.
Yeah.
And maybe, I know we don't have lanes in the track, but maybe if we have like an unspoken thing, and maybe we can mention this during the opening ceremony, Mama, where it's like,
You
if
boost
you're,
on the
speed
left or
boost,
something.
speed,
Yeah.
pass on the left,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, and we all have fun in different ways. And if your fun is seeing how many times you can get around that track with the speed booster on, then have fun. But,
Journey.
yeah, let's be
Banked.
nice and kind to
Banked
one another,
curves.
however we decide to relay. Yeah.
Banked curves would be cool, but they also cause collisions, and collisions cause lag.
Yeah. All right, questions. Let's open this up to
Phantom.
questions. We talked enough. Any questions that you guys have? Jenny or Kitty too, anything you have questions about? And guys, if you come up with a question, you can I am Jenny, you can I am Kitty, you can I am me. We'll answer any questions that you come up with after you leave today.
They are not going to your team right.
I'm not sure
No.
what a me-bopper is. What's a me-bopper?
I
Celine
think he's
says
talking about
you
the
can type your
luminaries.
question
And no,
or
they don't
voice
go
it.
to team. That
Whatever
goes.
you
They don't go to
comfortable
teams,
with.
no.
Sass says the luminary.
No, they're scripted to
Stoneclaw says
go
luminary.
to relay for life to our general total.
Sorry.
You'll actually be paying a Luminaria avatar that has res them,
says,
and then that
the
money
captain of
goes
Tiny
to the
Explorers
American
wanted to have
Cancer.
a tourney camp on the same sim as Melly's.
Okay, Violet, you just need to give us all that info on the campsite registration form. We'll make it happen, okay?
I sure will.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That campsite registration form is where you need to get that all
Melina
out.
says,
Um,
Noah, any kiosks, vendors, etc. on
yes,
your campsite.
thank
go
you,
to your
Melina,
team
for
so you can
clarifying that.
still raise
If
funds
you
the
do
entire
res
weekend.
the team kiosk or a bunch of vendors on your campsite, those all go to your team. Yep, they do. And we encourage that,
This says, how big is the tourney camp?
The turnkey camps are, think, quarter region that's split into 4 small little areas. And think
Kitty
of
says,
it's decorated
to
on the
let me know if you
outside,
level
so
during the
to
weekend.
theme with either some magical stuff or trees.
Chevy
And then
says,
right in the middle
"Yes,
of
I
your
love
little
track
spot,
shopping while
there's a
walking."
small little platform where you can res a few things.
Muse says 32
And
by 32.
you guys, Celine, what's that?
Celine says.
I don't know, Muse. I'd have to go measure them, and
secure.hsfs.org.
I'm not sure they're all the same.
Kitty
Yeah,
says.
it's all the
Um,
same. That's part of
yeah,
the fun and the surprise of it all.
Journey says.
Yeah,
Quarter
it's
of a
kind of
quarter.
fun. They're fun little things, you guys. We saw the first one yesterday. I
Kitty
want to
says,
mention a couple of
"You are
names.
eligible for badges with a
Sass
turnkey."
Winchester, who is here, is building. Sass, is it Winchester?
Eligible.
Why did I say that? Building the
Sass says.
info
is.
stations
Yeah.
and the campsite markers, and oh my God, you are going to be just. She is doing such an amazing job building them to theme. I can't wait for you guys to see them all. But thank you, Sass. And then Taylor Grace is the one who is building all of the turnkey regions. And we got to see the first one last night. And yeah, she does an amazing job. They're all different. You get a little space on them. And, you know, if you're not up to building a quarter region, grab one of the turnkeys and have fun with it. You have 200 prims, you know, make it your teams. The theme part of it is Taylor's building that around the little space that you have. So I hope that answered that question. Sure, Kitty. Turn on your mic if you want.
Hello.
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 Okay.
I want to mention the turnkeys are eligible for the cancer education badges. So if you want to put some of the posters out for the cancer education, you can get a badge for that, and you will get a theme badge.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Kitty. Forgot all about that.
Yeah, and you can even make your own posters up as long as you're using information from
Yes.
cancer.org.
Yes, and you know the posters that Sandy beautifully makes for us every year, if they don't fit your build, you know, make your own and use the info that Sandy has on them. You know, you can do it in many, many, many different ways. Yep. Any other questions? Yes. And like I said, guys, if questions pop up over the next 4 or 5 weeks, Kitty and Jenny and I love to answer them.
It's true, we do.
We do. Okay,
You guys
anything
rock
else?
this season. Again, I have nothing but kudos for you all. You've been working together so well, and it's just been a fun season to be a part of.
All right, guys, we'll let you go if you don't have any more questions.
I'll just say this is supposed to be fun, and it shouldn't stress anybody out. So if you do start to get stressed, then how can you like bring it back to being fun again?
Yeah, well, if
And
you
a lot of
stress,
times
contact
that's
Sandy.
information, right? A lot of people the stress is caused by you don't feel like you have the information. So yeah, just ask around, ask in chat. You know, if people don't know the answers, it's okay to say I don't know, and you know, work your way to somebody who does have the answers. And then again, it's my advice. Don't let somebody else's whatever they're doing or not doing become your stress, right? Let that you focus on you and your team's experience and making sure that's fun, and trust that if somebody's doing something that needs to be addressed, that the people who need to address it know about it.
And this is a big production, you guys. This is 34 regions and hundreds of people. And I have to say that over the years, you know, in putting all this together, there's very little discord among everybody. You all work so hard. Yeah, Slagwell. You all work so hard to make it smooth and get along. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, if that tree is 1 inch over on your campsite, it's not the end of the world, right? You probably have the inch to spare. So
I say embrace it, then build build something around that tree, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, it's all about, you know, us coming together and us working together and all of that. So God, something popped into closer to after you've registered for your campsite and all of that, we will be asking you for a list, a small list of those that will be helping you build the campsite, and you all will be moved into a group that's for the builders only, and that's will give you access to the region. So look for that. That will be coming, in a couple of weeks.
And all of those access who can do certain things isn't about keeping people out so much
No.
as it is keeping the
Let
people that
peop-
need to be there with the freedom, the ability to do that before the rush comes, right? So it's a kind of like a slow, for like Mama said, the regions arrive, a couple of things we got to do before we open it up to the next phase, and then phase 3, and then phase 4, and phase 5. The schedule is, our goal is, like we have to let the teams in by Saturday.
Yep.
But like last year, we got finished with phases 1
Yeah,
and 2
we're done.
early, where we
No
actually
reason to
did,
keep you out. Yep.
we let y'all in early on Friday. So if we were able to do that, we will.
You will be able to terraform. If anybody, I'm surprised that question didn't come up. So, but we will ask you to indicate on your list who the terraformer is going to be, and that's a different tag that they will have. But we ask, make sure this isn't the first time the name you give us is terraformed. We have had some of the best, it's all fixable, not the end of the world.
Actually, yes, Journey. The region we're using the same map layout. The rectangle. Like, we're not doing a different shape this year, and we're keeping the same region names.
Yeah.
We thought, we were laughing. We were like, what if we just literally put all the teams in the exact same spots?
Oh my
But
God.
nah, we're gonna shuffle things up again. Like, that
We
part
do
we'll
not-
shuffle.
Sorry, Sting. We do not give Fuzz terraform rights, Violet. We know
Ooh.
that.
Or me.
Poor Fuzz.
I get the fog machine this year.
No, you do not. And you don't get terraform rights either.
No, you do not want that.
If we do, we would all be underwater then.
You know it.
All
That's
right,
the
you
way we
guys,
gotta live.
let's let you go. Thank
Well, I
you.
do
for
have- I do have a question for Sting.
Okay, go.
Yep. And Selene and everybody here has been so helpful to me and my team this year. Is I don't know if you know, Sting, that I was diagnosed with melanoma cancer in the beginning of this year, and it's been quite a battle for me and my family. I've been trying so hard to outreach to the American Cancer Society because it's been a little hardship for me and my wife in terms of traveling. Even just had a few friends here and there giving us a gas card, because of the travel time.
Mhm.
If we had to have somewhere to sleep, the cost, the burden of, my wife always had to take her vacation times. And where do I outreach, for any type of assistance?
Wait, I'm
And
sorry.
can you reach out to him maybe privately? And there's so many ways, but yeah, it's sometimes hard to navigate it, huh? Yeah, there's the
He has-
number.
He has reached out.
So
He's
it
just
sounds
needing
like
a
you
little
have
bit-
reached out if you've gotten the gas cards and whatnot.
He has reached out, but has not heard back from ACS yet. So yeah, if y'all could do that privately, it would be
me-
great.
I'd appreciate
send
that.
Me, send me a Discord probably, or email, because if you've reached out and you
Thank
haven't
you,
heard
Melina.
back, depending on how long that is, then also like Melina's saying, there's
Did you see that from Melina? Yeah.
because if you called, they should have helped you right then and there. So that's interesting. But
Great.
yeah, we can
Get you set up,
we'll
David.
troubleshoot. We know a couple of people.
Yeah. All right. We promised an hour and we delivered. How about that?
Not bad.
And Muse, thank you for
The region
recording
names
it.
are-
Okay,
Thank you.
Sass,
Oh,
did you have a
Sass.
question?
Yeah, she asked if the region names are not named for the sponsor of the region. So yes, so the region names are RFL space and then a word that's related, thematically related to the
RFL
American Cancer
acceptance.
Society.
Yep.
Right, to cancer, fighting cancer and whatnot. And then when there's a region sponsor, then we add sponsored by after that.
Yep.
So when we send out the maps, obviously it's like your campsite's on acceptance or comfort or fight back or whatnot, remember, or something like that.
And if
And when you're on the region,
Right.
you'll see it in the region title. sponsored by the region sponsor. And then I think, Mama, you were probably about to say, if a team is sponsoring a region, then we
Yes,
do
I
every,
was.
like, that is kind of like the first campsite. Like, we always, like, so like, let's
Yes,
say
Luna.
Camping for a Cure. I saw Jenny's name, right? Let's say Camping for a Cure. If they're sponsoring a region, we're going to put Camping for a Cure's campsite on the region that they're sponsoring. And so that is where, if there's ever a reason we cannot make an accommodation, like I want to be next to this team, well, if the campsite are all filled up because of other things, and then one of those things is because a sponsor needs to be there,
Right.
that's why we wouldn't be able to put you exactly. But that's why it's always better to be like, if you don't care to be next door, it, like, even note that's okay to be across the street or something to that effect, right?
And your name also goes on the banners on the info station leading into the region that you sponsored, and on the banners exiting. Your name goes in a lot of places that show that you have sponsored that region. It's not trivial. It's $750. So we make sure to make sure your name is out there with lots of thank yous for sponsoring that region.
I'm gonna do a quick audible, Mama. You're gonna hate this. I'm gonna get kicked. What do you think? I'm gonna just ask Mama the question. What do you think? Because we always talk about that outer corner, those 4 outer corners. We don't put campsites on because there's no real track real estate. What about? And then we, I don't know, we usually have people fill or whatever. What if a team captain, like, what if my team is okay with the outer corner and okay with not having the 128 meters of real estate, that I'll put a little tiny little entrance right in the corner and you can get into my campsite that way? What could we let them request that?
No, okay, but then we use them for the mega events. Then we move
That's
the
right.
mega.
Never mind. I withdraw my.
You. we
forgot we
beg
solved that
them not
last
to
year.
care,
Yeah.
and we let them. Yeah. So if this will all work out in the wash. But we do. There are 4 dead corners on the map that have no